Really, I'm floored. I understand why people do dope. Because that's the feeling right there. I'm sorry. I'm not very educated. That's what I could compare it to.
Sign my name with the feather, tap dance under the full moon.
Getting my notes together. What up, guys? So today is Wednesday, another beautiful day. I am reviewing another album. I told you guys in the past that this is something that I truly enjoy doing simply because music is a big part of my life, especially hip hop. I don't really mess with any other genres, but I try to immerse myself in different sounds and just try to grasp as much music as possible, because you can't just limit yourself to one genre. It's kind of a disservice to music in general, you know? So I try to dabble in different genres and seeing what else is out there, but you know, most of the times I just kind of stick with hip hop. So for this video, I was actually gonna review Freudian by Daniel Caesar, but it was a little sad for me. I feel like music has the potential to change your overall mood, and I don't know, it just kills my vibe, you know? And so I decided not to, but if you guys have the opportunity to check that album out, man, do so, because the first time I heard this album, it was like God himself was speaking to me. And I'm not a religious person, but you know, it's such a beautiful overall album, and the sonics in it is just amazing. I don't know much about the artist in general, but I really recommend his album. But today I am actually going to review Action Bronson's Blue Chips 7000. So for some of you who don't know who Action Bronson is, he's a New York based rapper from Queens.
I feel like I'm looking at a Mona Lisa.
No, it's not a Mona Lisa. I'm more avant-garde, more weird. I'm weirder than a Mona Lisa.
Originally, I heard Action Bronson a couple years back. It might have been like a freestyle or something.
I see me looking homeless, hopping out the Rover, parrot on my shoulder. Just say what up, I might acknowledge you. My shit is crazy, though appear to be a common dude. I only deal with people that invent shit, cause after rap there ain't no pension. And I'm just trying to be the next George Foreman, invent a new grill so Jada Kiss could cook the bass on it.
Ever since then, I've always been very interested in this style, because you know, in today's hip-hop era, you know, everybody's doing the same thing, so it's always very refreshing to hear, you know, old sounds mixed, you know, with something new, with a new style. So Action Bronson, he's a very flamboyant, sort of obnoxious rapper, but it's funny how he like concocts his own style. He's a very interesting rapper, the way he formulates sentences and verses, and it makes you, it's like, it gives you like that, you know?
Been around the world more than Carmen San Diego. Raw meat throwing the lions under the table. Grown man breaking bread while your face bled. Found him face down in the shed like a bass head.
So Blue Chips 7000 is actually the third installment of the Blue Chips series. I read in an interview that he named it Blue Chips 7000 because of the elevated sounds in the album, mixtape, whatever you want to call it. And so yeah, he called it Blue Chips 7000. So since Action Bronson's last album, Mr. Wonder, which is another beautifully put album, he's kind of strayed away from music just because he's more focused on, he has a bunch of different TV shows on Vice, and he's doing that, which is awesome. But I feel like this album reflects his personality, just the way he does his TV shows or whatnot, and this album just reflects him, reflects his personality. So let's get into the actual review. So first things first, when it comes to any album, sound is basically anything and everything. So this album is actually produced by Party Supplies, which also produced, I think, the previous two, but you also see appearances from producer Harry Fraud and my favorite, man, The Alchemist. I've known about The Alchemist for years now. I remember hearing that song when something like, hold you back. And it was the first time I'd ever heard of who Alchemist was, and I've been a fan ever since. I truly believe he's like one of the most underrated producers of all time. I feel like Action Bronson's biggest attributes is sonics. Each and every project he puts out, sound is always number one for him. It's like he has a very unique ear to certain sounds, and it's beautiful to actually see something that you would never think comes together actually be, you know, put together. For example, on this song Hot Pepper, he infuses this like hip hop with Jamaican sound. It's beautiful to hear it together in the song, and of course he always comes with the bars. But overall, I think for this album, it's just beautiful sonically because you get a little taste of everything. I know usually for certain albums they have a specific sound that you want to hear all throughout the album, but on this one you get a little bit of everything, and I think that's Action Bronson's biggest factor that usually makes him stand out amongst other people. Now we get to lyricism. A couple years back, I wasn't that big into sounds. I would always give lyricism all credit, but I've come to realize that sonics plays a huge role in how you make an album, but lyricism is where it's at. Let's get into lyricism. So Bronson is always heavy with the pen. I feel like he's the modern day Hemingway infused with a rapper. And I know it sounds crazy, but trust me. So he's one of the few artists who can put like the most obnoxious rhyme schemes together. And I mean that in the most complimentary way. They're always filled with metaphors, similes, analogies, and not a lot of people are doing that today. So it's just like I said, it's very refreshing to hear that. I wrote down a couple of his lyrics on La Luna, one of his songs on the album. Says, your shit lacks quality. I'm sitting right behind my chick making pottery. My first joint was like the Odyssey. The second joint straight raw like the shaman's feet. Climbed the stairs to the sun. Sacrificed myself for protection of my only son. You know, because Mayans used to sacrifice people for the gods or whatever. So he's sacrificing himself in order to protect his son. Like, it sounds crazy. It sounds crazy, like, but it makes sense. So overall, I think the album was very beautifully put together. I wish Action Bronson would focus more on rapping, because not necessarily rapping, but focus more as a musician, because I think he would be killer if he did like a funk/rock album. I think he would create a masterpiece, but I know he's doing like these TV shows or whatever, and you can't ever try to place an artist in a box because it's just not what we do. So you can't force somebody to only rap. You have to let them go out and create in different avenues, you know. It's just a part of being an artist. So overall, I give the album an 8 out of 10. I wish there was more of a like plot storyline tied to it, but it's Action Bronson, like
Right there. Oh, man.
Yeah, they say a way to a man's heart is his stomach, right?
You damn right. You trying to get there? You won. You got it.
But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed the album. I think the overall sounds is what makes this album stand out amongst, you know, any other rap albums that are out there, or just like as an artist in general. It makes Action Bronson stand out. He has a very refined ear when it comes to certain sounds, and then when you mix his obnoxious/delightful lyrics to it, it creates his own sound, you know, and that's something that I always look forward to whenever Action Bronson puts out a project, especially when he adds Mayhem Lauren and his cousin Big Body Best. They all sing together.
Well, that's what the crab mango salad is? I didn't imagine it like that. Wrapped in mango. Yeah.
It's like a Rangoon.
I thought that was crab with a crab single on top. I thought it was like a tuna melt. I'm like, oh.
If you don't know who those characters are, go online, check out some Vice clips of them three. You'll understand what I'm talking about.
Right now, he's walking back with that shopping list like these greedy American Slavs. The beats in here are crazy, man.
That's everything I wanted in a woman. Oh, man. You know when you're making noises while you're eating? Nah.
Ooh, oh, man.
Oh, my God. Fresh. It was all pretty special stuff.
Some of my favorite tracks are Hot Pepper, 924, 7000 featuring Rick Ross, The Choreographer. Those are all great songs and it has a little bit of everything, so I feel like you guys should check those out. But that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you haven't checked out my other reviews, I've reviewed Aminé's Good For You album, and then I've also reviewed something else, but I'll be sure to put them down in the description as well so you guys can check them out. That's today's review. So if you guys have any comments, suggestions, whatever, leave them down at the bottom. Let me know what's up. If you enjoyed those albums, let me know. But anywho, guys, gotta get going. And I will see you guys on Friday. Yo, I got something special cooking for y'all on Friday, man. So if you haven't subscribed, man, be sure to subscribe because you're gonna want to see that video. So much love to you guys and thank you all for the support. Peace.
Praise the Lord, I was born to travel. Feeling like Slash in front of the chapel. I'm lean back with the less pull. Shit I smoke is like